Hi, welcome. If you haven't already, please welcome, subscribe, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. And today we're interviewing a businessman editor from Local 4 named Rod Meloni. How are you doing today?
I am well, Max. How are you tonight?
Good. What is it like to fill in for the anchors?
What is it like to fill in for the anchors? It's fun, actually. It's a very different thing. All of the words are in front of me on a teleprompter. That makes life infinitely easier because out in the field, I have to memorize everything. And sometimes the things that I write aren't always easy to memorize. So, that works out well. I like being in the studio and talking to everybody else in person, the weather people, the sports people. And so it's actually fun. I enjoy it.
Now I see you. Are you? Would you say you're on more the weekends in the evening or the morning hours filming?
Uh, well, it's interesting that you asked that because you will find me in all of those places. Mostly I work day side Monday through Friday, but because my kids are now grown, they're out of college. Although my youngest is almost out of college, my older two are out. I don't have things that are going to tie me down so that when there's a need for somebody to work a night or a weekend or an early morning, they usually ask me, and the answer is usually yes. So I enjoy doing all of the different shifts that I do. It's interesting though because like to do the morning show in during the week, I have to be up at 1:30 in the morning. Okay? To do the morning anchor, especially on the weekend, I'm going to be up no later than about 2:30. So getting up at those hours is not always easy, but you do what you have to. And so, like, I don't mind working all of those other shifts. In fact, you're getting a little exclusive here. This weekend, I'm going to be doing the sports, which is, I've done the sports a little bit, but I'm going to be doing it a lot over the July 4th weekend.
Ah, what got you into business?
What got me into the TV business?
Yes, or just
Oh,
business in general.
well, much like you, I knew about your age. I was in eighth grade, so maybe a little younger than you. But I knew in about the eighth grade that this is what I wanted to do for a living. Um, I may go back even farther, like in the sixth grade, because this is going back a long time. But in the early 1970s, the federal government put a lot of money into schools where they spent money on videotape equipment, the first industrial videotape equipment. My school received a whole bunch of that, and my buddies started playing with it. And I saw them doing that. And the minute I figured out that I could make a living making television, I was hooked. And so from that day forward, I worked very hard junior high school and even high school to get to college to be able to get a degree so that I could work in television and particularly television news.
How often do you have business reports for?
Um, well, strangely enough, it used to be all the time, but now it's maybe like a third of the time because the world's kind of changed and you can get your business news online if you really need it. I was doing this before the internet was the big thing, so people would watch at 6 o'clock to hear the stock report, to hear what went on in the car business that day. But they're not as they don't need that information on TV as much as they used to. So I do about maybe a third of my reports are business. I still cover the auto industry. I do a lot of work on the economy, helping people understand money. I went and became a certified financial planner as sort of a side discipline so that I could speak authoritatively on the stock market, on investing, on personal finance. And so I do a lot of that too on here.
Now I understand that you do a cook-off with some of the other anchors or reporters.
Yes. Well, yeah, we've ended up doing cook-offs, and it's kind of really sad. Yeah, keep going. It's called Rod the Builder, and we've done a lot of cooking for bizarre reasons I really can't explain. Um, the idea behind Rod the Builder was to initially figure out, is it better to spend money to have somebody in the store like build the bicycle or the dollhouse you bought for Christmas? Should you spend the money or should you do it yourself? And the first year I put the bicycle together in about an hour and a half. Well, they didn't like that. The whole point was they wanted me to fail. So now what they do is they set me up with things that they know I don't succeed in. And put me up against professionals in places where they know I'm going to lose. And then they put it on the air. For some bizarre reason, people think this is hilarious television. I, for the life of me, don't understand it. But at the same time, people like it. People ask me about it all the time. And so I'm kind of stuck with it.
What are the rules in the competition? Because I know you
What are
did
the what
great.
there's only one rule that I lose. That's it. No matter what happens, I lose.
Oh, I remember watching it last time, and what ended up happening was you were up against Grant, and it you complete your cannolis, or I think it was that or something else was like breaking apart, or it wasn't.
Yes, it was. I lose it. Grant is a really good cook. I'm awful, and that's the one they really like. Is I'm a lousy cook. My wife is a really good cook, and I'm her sous chef. I don't cook. I'm awful at it. I'm not even attempting to get good at it. So they set me up in that arena to lose. So that's how it goes.
Is there going to be a cook-off this year?
We don't know what we're going to do with that until about a week or two before we do it, or when they have to start promoting it. So I don't know. We have a producer that actually manages that. Her name is Megan. Megan is up to her eyeballs in other stuff. So I figure sometime around the beginning of November, she'll come to me and we'll find out what I'm going to do. As of now, I don't know.
From Local 4, who have you been paired up with for the competition other than Grant and Steve?
Well, I did Steve the year before. Before that, they put me up against like actual chefs and people who knew what they were doing even more than Steve and Grant. And everybody thinks it's hilarious. Personally, I'm not so fond of it, but everybody laughs. So we go and we forge ahead.
What did you make during the cook-off?
Well, last year I picked the menu last year. So we did lobster salad, clam chowder, and I forgot the third thing. We made something else. I don't remember now. Cannoli. And I never made a cannoli in my life, so it was obvious. The year before Steve picked the menu, we did fried ravioli. We did a lasagna. We did a Caesar salad with a particular dressing, and that was all his idea.
Did anyone break the rules during the competition?
Oh, well, yeah, me. Like I said, I'm a lousy cook, and everybody else they put me up against really knows what they're doing. So the only person who's actually like bending the rules is me. One year, we were doing pizza. I don't know. One year, I went out and bought pizza, tried to pass it off as my own, and I bought it at Tomatoes and Pizza down in West Bloomfield, and I got caught. They had no end of fun with that.
What was the best thing made at the competitions?
The best thing made?
Yes.
Anything I didn't touch.
Oh.
No, I mean, I'm trying to remember. We made Christmas cookies. We made one year we did gingerbread houses. Steve's lasagna was very good. Although I didn't eat his, I ate mine, but his recipe was good.
Who won the cook-offs?
Like I said, I lose every time. So Steve won, Grant won, the cooks won, everybody won, but me.
Boy. Was there a Local 4 cameraman or person that was recording the cook-off when you did it in public?
Well, normally we have two photographers for that particular adventure. Now, last year we had two. The year before, because of COVID, we had none. I used my computer, the laptop that I'm talking to you on now, and I put it up on a ladder so that they could see my end of it. And I did it up in my home that we have up north. And this year, well, I'm trying to remember who it was. I know Jason Wilder, and I don't remember. We work with a different photographer almost every day, so I don't remember.
Did anyone take cooking lessons to make the dishes that were made at the competition?
Well, my wife coached me. After that, I don't know. I don't know that Steve or Grant need cooking lessons. They're pretty good all on their own. Steve wrote a cookbook,
Yes,
so he knows what he's doing.
I saw that, and honestly, I think Grant should make one too. I mean, because sometimes his Instagram, like I'll see it and I'll be like, these actually look really good.
Well, I do believe Grant does like YouTube videos of his cooking or Instagram or something. If you look him up, you'll find his cooking online.
Where did you take the where was last year's competition held at?
It was held at the holiday market last year, the holiday market in Royal Oak, and then the year before we did it from our homes. So Steve was in his palatial kitchen, and I was in my house up north.
Do you have a script? Actually, wait, I already know the answer to that one. What is the best part, in your opinion, of WDIV Insider?
WDIV Insiders, anything I post. No, I'm kidding. No, the WDIV Insider is a lot of fun, and it gives you great insight into a lot of things. When they come to me and ask me to write an article for it, I do my best to try and add perspective to different stories so that people can understand the story a little bit better than actually what aired. Give a little more background and a little bit more understanding of the issue that I'm writing about.
Do you ever have anxiety while or before you are anchoring or reporting?
No, we're too busy to be anxious, and no offense, but doing this for 41 years, if I'm anxious now, it's too late. There's no saving me.
What is the easiest thing, in your opinion, to report on?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that. I mean, in terms of doing what I do, a story like I did yesterday, we were at the fireworks all day, and we were doing like fireworks security and where people happen to be back from the pandemic. That's kind of a featurey thing, and it really doesn't require that much effort. But the job is, one day it's that kind of story, and then the next day it's a story like I did today, where I was covering the Michigan Supreme Court and a ruling that it made about the Flint water case. Well, that case is about as complicated as you're going to find in terms of what it is that we do. So the good part about the job is that it has those kinds of fluctuations to it, where it's really easy one day and then really hard the next. And it's challenging, and it ebbs and it flows. And in the end, I really like that about this business. So that's kind of one of my favorite things about all of this.
What is the hardest thing to report on or anchor on?
You know,
Your signal cut out.
part of the challenge to this job is you kind of have to. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The hardest thing, the hardest thing is the deadlines. The deadline pressure comes at noontime, not at 5 after. 4 o'clock comes at 4 o'clock, not 5 after. 5 o'clock comes on at 5 o'clock, not 5 after. So the deadline pressure is perhaps the hardest. You learn to deal with it. You learn to live with it. But the deadline pressure can be very, very difficult.
What is your favorite thing to report on?
Well, I like business. I like personal finance. I like a good business story because I think that it gets kind of short shrift. It doesn't always get the kind of coverage that it needs. So I'm always happy to do a business story. But the truth of the matter is, they pay me to do whatever comes my way that needs to be reported. And after as much time as I've been doing this, I actually enjoy that tomorrow I'll have 2 more stories or 3 more stories that I'll have to do. And it will be a new challenge and something different that I may or may not know about. And so the best part about all of that is usually I learn something new pretty much every day.
What is your least favorite thing to report on?
Well, I don't like covering body stories where people have died, in particular where children have died. That is no fun. But then again, in many cases, it's kind of important. So we do what we have to do.
When did you start working for Local 4?
1995.
What is your news reporting history and roles?
My history.
Yes.
Okay. I graduated from college in 1981. My first day on the job was the day that Ronald Reagan was shot by John Hinckley. I had worked in commercial radio throughout college. That got me my first job. I started in Bangor, Maine, lived up the street from Stephen King. Went from Bangor to Portland, Maine. I was a reporter anchor in both. Went from there to Miami, Florida. I was a reporter in Miami for about 3.5 years. Then I went to Tampa. I was a reporter in Tampa for about 3 years. Came to Michigan, went up to Saginaw. I was an anchor up there for 5.5 years. And then I came to WDIV, and here we are.
Is it hard to report outside in winter?
Well, no more than it is to, walk outside or go to the store. I mean, it is what it is. And when you do it, as long as you're dressed properly, you're going to be fine.
What is your favorite event to report on?
You know what? I don't know. I've never thought of it in those terms. It's always work. So, I enjoy my work. So I like the fact that I'm working and get to go and maybe the best way to put it is I like the access that this job gives me to go places and see things that most people don't. And so that would be the answer to that question.
What is it like to be in the Local 4 bands?
Being a fan?
Yes, in the vans.
Oh, in the van?
Yeah.
It's like going home. Like I am now. My photographer's pulling up to my car. We work out of the van. It's my work, it's my desk, it's my, it's pretty much everything. So the van is actually very important for me in what I do.
All right. What are you working on right now?
Well, I just finished the story on the Michigan Supreme Court, and I do have what I call money minutes. And I've got 3 of those written, and I have to record those in the next day to make sure that they're in the queue for the next month.
What got you into business?
In TV?
Yeah, or like into business. Like
I got interested in the business because I figured out that I could make a living doing it. And when I figured that out, that changed everything for me. And that's when I decided I was going to go do it.
And the last question I have is, what is your education?
Okay, I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I'm sorry, we're going back a ways. I have a Bachelor of Science in Mass Communication, a minor in speech because I'm from New England, and I didn't want to sound like I came from Boston. The commercial and my cousin from Boston. I didn't want to sound like that, so I learned how to not sound like I was from New England. And then later in life, when I back in the 90s, I went to school at Oakland University to get my certificate in personal financial planning, which enabled me to take the test for the Certified Financial Planner exam. And so for all intents and purposes, you could say that I've got like a professional degree in financial planning.
Thanks for joining.
Max, I'm glad you reached out, and I hope you get a few views on this.
Yes, I've interviewed Devin Skillion, you, Michelle Oliver, Bernie, and Victor. So, and I've sent it to everyone in the station of reporters, anchors, sports anchors.
Well, I hope we did right by you.
Yes, and Tim. So if you could spread the word, that would be greatly appreciated.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Max. I enjoyed talking to you.
I enjoyed talking to you too.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.